Good morning. It is dark and rainy out here. I'm just out kind of checking on some of the seedlings and things while it kind of rains. We've gotten a good bit of rain over the last few days and looks like we're going to be getting a bit more. It's starting to so feel like fall, you know, when there's just that difference, like the air feels different, the light looks different, there's a crispness. We did hit the official first day of fall, so we're past that now too, so it is officially fall, and it's different. I can't explain exactly what it is, but we all know it, right? You can just feel the difference. So with all this rain, I'm just making sure that all of my slug bait and everything is still in place, and that the little slugs aren't getting out here and eating the whole garden. And I think everything is doing well so far. You can see all the green in the containers. Everything is just coming up, growing really well so far. Knock on wood, the squirrels are staying out of the garden wherever I put down the chicken wire. That has been working, which is super nice. And I wanted to give you a little update on the Unheated Greenhouse area, how that's looking too, because I don't show that quite as much, but that's doing really well. You can see we've got lots of things growing over here, so the containers are doing pretty well. And I wanted to show you these. This is this little window box, and the black petunias are just so stunning. I'm gonna have to find a spot like front and center for Halloween for these guys, because is that not the most perfect Halloween flower you've ever seen? I mean, it's just completely the season. That next to this little pepper plant, this is actually a jigsaw pepper, which just never really got going because it was so I don't know, it's just been kind of stunted and crowded all year, but it's pretty cute and looks kind of, yeah, very festive, very Halloween. Over here you can see what a full jigsaw pepper looks like. I mean, it's a little rained out today, but it's been really pretty, a really productive little pepper, and just the most gorgeous variegation. And then we've got a beautiful eucalyptus in this container too, which I'm gonna have to decide if I want to try to bring this inside over the winter or not. One year I did winter over my eucalyptus in the Unheated Greenhouse, and I actually overwintered like I think 3 plants. I brought in like 3 plants, put them in the Unheated Greenhouse. Of course they get some extra warmth and protection, but the Unheated Greenhouse, once the cover's on everything, it does still sometimes get down to about outside temperatures. So of all my eucalyptus, and I'm in zone 7A, of all my eucalyptus, one of them survived. I had like 3, so 2 died, 1 survived, so that was pretty cool. But it was kind of just also, I don't know, a fluke, right? Like I don't know exactly why that one stayed warmer than the other ones. I'm getting ready to bring in some of my houseplants, and so this eucalyptus, you know, you have to start kind of making some decisions. And honestly, I don't usually love to bring in a lot of houseplants because it can bring in bugs, and it can just be a whole big hassle. But I've got my lemon tree up there. It's kind of enjoying, I think, what's going to be like its last summer rain, you know, getting a little bit more rainwater and a little last bit of sun. But then our temperatures really, this storm that's hitting us now is kind of the turning point. And now it is feeling like fall. It is getting kind of crisp. And I want to make sure that I get my citrus inside and happy before we really get, you know, into any cold temperatures. I don't want to stress it out. So I want to get that in. I'll show you that process. But it is always a little worrisome, right? Because like there's all these bugs outside and things, and just, you know, these containers, earthworms get into these containers and stuff, and it's just different than indoor growing. So I got a couple plants that I'm going to be debating bringing indoors, and we'll see. Another one is this little ivy plant that I got over here. Little guy is pretty cute, so we might bring him in. I was thinking maybe I would bring in like one of the bananas too, but I mean, this is just such a huge tree, so I gotta decide if I want to keep this in a container, plant it out into landscape. I'm still a little bit undecided on the bananas, but they are beautiful. And you could grow these as an indoor plant if you wanted to. You could definitely bring this inside. I don't really bring in a lot of things usually. Like I don't have any this year actually, begonias or anything, but I don't usually bring in anything like that. There's not much else, but this eucalyptus is super pretty, and it might be kind of fun to try and see how it does. So we can get the camera to focus. See how it does over the winter. It's a baby blue eucalyptus. we've got a couple over there. So maybe we'll do that. I don't know. Oh, but anyways, it's so nice to get some rain. It's kind of kept me out of the... We haven't spent much time in the garden the last couple days because of all the rain, but that's been a good little break too. And I know, like, we were just getting so dry. So this is really, really very, very welcome. Hey there. So it is a couple days later. It is still raining. We have just been getting so much rain, which is great for the seedlings. The garden is looking really beautiful, a little bit wet and kind of soaked, but beautiful. You can see down there all the seedlings coming up, everything just growing. And so it's kind of a nice little break too. I really haven't been doing too much out here. I've got to harvest the last of the tomatoes that I've got in the container window box, which is really just basically died for the season. I need to clean. But I'm out here today to grab this. This is my lemon tree, and I was going to let it kind of dry out before I brought it inside, but I actually just really want to bring it in before the weather starts to get too cold. The nights are starting to get chilly, and I don't want it to shock too much, so I kind of want to keep it, I don't know, as close to the indoor temperature as possible. So I'm just going to shake it off, and even though it's super wet, I think we're just going to bring it indoors. While I'm out here, I wanted to show you the beautiful dazzling blue kale, and there is nothing like just rain or any kind of snow or ice that gathers on these leaves. It's so pretty, and this plant is so gorgeous. It is so funny how much bigger a tree like this looks once you bring it inside. I brought it out of the patio and I'm like, wow, this is actually a pretty big lemon tree. And it's only 2 years since I've had it. I got it as just like a little plug from Stark Brothers. It's a pink variegated lemon tree. So hopefully we will have pink lemons on it. Last winter, it did produce flowers and they smelled amazing. They were beautiful. They smelled gorgeous. I tried to hand pollinate and I didn't actually end up getting any lemons, but I'm going to try again this year because I would really love to have some lemons, obviously, on it. And so I just kind of checked through the first layer of soil, like first inch or so of soil. I might pull some of that out because you just want to make sure that there's no insects or anything harbored over in here. But then now I'm just checking the leaves, and it has been on my upstairs patio. So I think as far as bug pressure, it's done pretty well. Typically I don't deal with quite as many bugs as I do down in the lower garden. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, there's a little bit of damage, but it looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do with this is actually take it upstairs, and I'm just gonna put it in, sorry if you hear my daughter, she's playing in the background, but I'm gonna put it in my upstairs bathroom and just like in the tub for a little while, and that way hopefully if anything kind of crawls off it or crawls out of the soil, it's a little easier to deal with. That's the plan. But I've got to bring this guy inside. There's no way that this lemon tree can survive out in our winters. We are zone 7A, so it's not really citrus weather. And people always ask me about the unheated greenhouse because of course I love my unheated greenhouse and I use that for a lot of things. But unfortunately, it does sometimes get down to outside temperatures. Like if we have gray days and we have really cold, cloudy days, it'll get pretty cold in that unheated greenhouse. So it would put the lemon tree at risk. So this guy's gonna go up to the bathroom. I think it looks pretty good. And hopefully we don't have too many bugs. Last year when I brought it inside, we had this hatch of like all of these little centipedes, and it was so gross. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen this year. I also brought in my bay leaf plant. So up here on top of my bookcase, I've got a little bit of a fall display going, just some, a fern and a couple little pumpkins. And then this is my bay leaf, which again, I checked, there was one little like cocoon growing on it. So I cut out the leaves that were kind of bug infested, and then I just put it here in this decorative pot, and hopefully it'll be really happy up here. And I also had this, I think it's called a rabbit foot fern. This guy was also out in my, just on my patio. And so I brought that in so it can kind of rest. And I've got these little, I don't know, I've been having fun with the little mushrooms in all of the containers. I just think it kind of makes it look sort of like woodlandy. So for fall, that's kind of nice. I think it's kind of pretty up here. And then this is the rabbit foot fern, excuse me. And then I forget what this one is called. I know it's a really common one, but it did really well outside. This guy was super, super happy being out on the patio all summer. So that was really fun to see. Now hopefully it'll last. I don't have the best sun in this room. I've got south facing windows, but the light doesn't come too far in past the window. So sometimes it's a little bit tricky to keep houseplants really going, but I just refresh them out. I've got a couple here on the counter too. I've got a couple of these staghorn ferns, which actually have been doing pretty well here on the counter. And I mean, it's pretty dark, but they've been kind of handling it. And a little banana leaf. I broke off one of my banana pups. I broke it off without any roots, and I don't think it's gonna root in water, but I had to try. I had to give it a shot, so. And while I'm over here, I'll give you a little fall decor. So I did these are my 2 little Jack Little pumpkins that grew in the garden, and I decided to just pop this in a little, this is little cocktail glass with the ghosts. And so I thought that was kind of cute. You know, when you have just a tiny little pumpkin display like this, that it was kind of fun to put the Jack Little pumpkins in there. And I grew them in my garden, so I'm very, very proud of them. And of course, we've got the ghost. I'm all into ghosts this year, and these little cauldrons, which are kind of fun. I got these from Crate & Barrel, and hopefully we'll do a fall soup and use the cauldrons, and that'll be kind of fun. I've also got a bit of a fall display out here in the living room, another bigger cauldron, and I picked up some pumpkins. Hopefully someday I will be able to do displays like these with my pumpkin from my garden. That's the goal. But for now, I still think it's kind of fun, and you know, just a few pumpkins, a little bit of natural display is nice. And of course, you know, gotta have some cabbage leaves around. I want to get more of a collection of the cabbageware. The cabbageware is just so silly and cute. So, you know, you gotta do that. And then an update on my indoor container arrangement. Unfortunately, the cats have been kind of eating the ferns. So the cats have gotten into the fern and they've been eating it a little bit. So I need to probably sub this out for something. And I was thinking for winter, maybe we'll do some little pine trees or something like that. But this is also a cute little way to, I don't know, just have a little fall centerpiece kind of situation over here on the coffee table, which has been fun. And we've got the polka dot plant and little vine and stuff. So that one has been doing well. It's actually been growing really nicely. The cats and houseplants are tricky. It's never an easy situation, and definitely my cats are they like to explore, they like to get into things. I'm already like prepping myself for Christmas and putting up the Christmas trees because I know they're gonna want to get into those too. But I found a few ways. Last year I really experimented with anchoring some of the ornaments, and I was able to get everything to stay up. So knock on wood, hopefully we can do that again this year. And I know it's like bizarrely early, but I'm starting to think through my themes for decorating for Christmas this year, and I'm really excited because I think I'm going to do a little bit more like natural and woodsy, and I will show you some of that process too. I know it's not strictly gardening, but I think most of us that enjoy the garden do enjoy some home stuff, and I'm trying to bring the garden inside this winter so that we have like a little bit of that garden spirit going on indoors and don't miss the garden too much during the winter time. So this is the only other houseplant that I think I'm going to bring in this winter. Ooh, it's in a terracotta pot that doesn't have any drainage, which is okay because these like a lot of water, but this is my pitcher plant. And last year I actually had this in a little terrarium, so I think I'm gonna go grab that terrarium and at least get it just in the terrarium for now, and then we will probably have to repot it at some point because I don't know what I've got. Here's a glazed terracotta. Okay, we'll put it there. And then I don't really mind if any bugs come in with this guy because of course it will just eat them. A little terrarium like this is kind of perfect for containing your houseplants, whether it's from cats or containing any bugs or anything. I'm just gonna put this little terracotta pot and I hope this fits. Ooh. Uh-oh, I have to repot this pitcher plant. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, that gonna go on the to-do list?
Well, now I'm in the car, continuing on this rainy day. I had to go get a coffee because, you know, it's holiday fall coffee season now. So I had to get a pumpkin spice latte and just enjoy this rainy day since I'm not really getting out in the garden. But I just wanted to wrap up. So I will put in a little image of getting the pitcher plant repotted and putting it into the little terrarium. Those little terrariums are so great if you want to have a couple little plants. I really enjoyed the carnivorous plants last year. I may actually go get a Venus flytrap. I don't need that many houseplants. Usually in January I do like a big houseplant refresh, but at some point here, maybe in January or maybe even before it, I might get another one of the carnivorous plants because they are just so fun and they grow really well like in a bright window in the terrarium. I think the only thing that's really kind of funky about taking care of the carnivorous plants is that you have to use rainwater or distilled water. You can't just use like regular tap water to water them. But usually here I have enough rain that it's pretty easy for me to collect that rain. So now I've got all the house plants indoors and I can focus just on the fall winter garden outside, trying to keep the house plants alive indoors. I may put a grow light on the lemon tree. As I said, I don't have I have south facing windows, but I don't get just a ton of light into the house much far past the window. So right now the lemon tree is in a window, but I think that it will do even better if I supplement it with a little bit of light. And there's all kinds of actually really kind of decorative ways. I have a few of the grow lights that are just on like a little, they kind of like wiggling stand and you can just put them out there and they're not too bad like as far as aesthetics, but you can also put you can get just the grow light bulb and you can put that in like a lamp or something that's next to one of your plants if it's you know, not getting enough sunlight from the window, and that can really make a big difference. So I may think about doing that for some of my other houseplants this winter. We'll see. But for now, that's everything on this rainy day. Thank you for hanging out. Hopefully the sun will come out soon and we will be back out in the garden and doing planting and all of that kind of stuff. So as always, thank you so much for watching and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.